Hello everybody, welcome back. This is going to be another episode of Total War Warhammer. I'm the Strategy Professor. It's going to be another multiplayer battle. Today we're going to be trying out Chaos. So I haven't done Chaos yet in multiplayer, and I've only done a little bit on the campaign map. I've done some. I don't quite have a campaign going yet. I need to get a Chaos campaign going. It's just hard to keep all 5 campaigns going at the same time, but I would like to get a Chaos campaign going very soon. Okay, so I've looked it over. This is patch 1.2. And Chaos are at a distinct disadvantage from other factions because they don't have any heroes that have health potions. 0. So even their melee hero guy, the Exalted Hero, does not have any health potions. And health potions, if you've watched any of my other multiplayer battles for patch 1.2, are extremely important. So the fact that you don't have any on your heroes, you're going to be at a major disadvantage if your opponent is building a serious army. However, you do have a really nice Lord. So you just go for the normal Lord. You can get 2 pots on him. He can get this flying mount, which is really nice, Chaos Dragon, for 550. And it gives you quite a few perks. It's not let me light up what that is over here, but anyways, he's pretty good. He has flaming attacks, so I think that does extra damage against things that are regenerate. I'm not sure if that's similar to magical attacks where it's only blocked by magic or fire resistance. If it is, that's awesome, but I don't think that's how that works. I'm not sure. So it says they do additional damage to units vulnerable to fire, but I know with magic damage, armor doesn't stop magic damage at all. I think that fire damage can be stopped by armor though, because I remember the iron breakers for the dwarves having reduced damage against armor. So I think that armor does stop fire damage. But it still has a nice charge, nice flying speed, nice amount of health, so it's a pretty good mount. So overall, he's a pretty strong lord, I think, for his price. That's a bit on the steep side compared to some other lords, but it's okay. And I just decided to get one Chaos Sorcerer, just so I can use some Winds of Magic, and I went for Death. The other ones are pretty garbage. Now, one thing that I don't do with Death is Spirit Leech. I don't like Lord Assassination. I've said that since day one. Also, I don't think Spirit Leech is particularly effective in this meta, where most lords and most heroes are going to have potions. So I don't run Spirit Leech. I do still have Spirit of Buna, and I will use this on high-cost, really pesky units like Blood Knights or other things. I will use Fate of Buna rather on them. I'm not sure about Soul Blight. I'm going to try it out. I think that's just so many debuffs for a relatively cheap price. It's only, well, 156 is not super cheap, but it's a lot of debuffs. And I don't have a ton of armor piercing because I'm going to run a lot of Forsaken. So I think it's going to be useful. So we're going to double tap Soul Blight just so that it lasts for 32 seconds. And then we're going to single cast Fate of Buna. Now this wizard is much more expensive. If you watch my Bretonia campaign or multiplayer rather, or my Empire multiplayer, you can get those wizards very cheap for about 300 to 400 gold. This guy, by contrast, is almost 1,000 gold. But he can actually fight. That's one difference, is you can throw him on a mount. I threw him on the cheapest mount available. It gives him some nice speed, some nice flanking. He has good armor, decent health for a hero, and he has pretty good melee attack and defense. So he's okay. He can actually fight, whereas something like the Damsel for the Bretonians really can't fight, but she costs a lot less. So it's a trade-off. Excuse me. Okay, so the rest of the army, the core, and it's I maybe should get more Forsaken. Now that I'm thinking about it. Because I could go for at least one more Forsaken. I mean, these things are just so good if you look at their cost. You know, they're only 750, and they do the kind of work that something like a Great Sword or a Graveguard would do. I guess the Graveguard are about the same price without the great weapons, but they have really high weapon strength. There's a lot of them in a pack. Like, having that kind of weapon strength, you would think it's going to be one of those 12 stack of monster units like trolls or something like that. No, this is an 80 stack. So there's a lot of these guys doing that much damage. And they get Frenzy, which means they get a little bit of extra charge bonus. They're immune to psychology, so they can't be feared or terrorized. And they get +8 melee attack, which is super important. So, I mean, it's like a 42 base melee attack, really heavy speed. I'm really thinking that I want another one now. What can I do to get another one? Okay, so I could get... The reason I have these Marauder Horsemen is if they have flying units, but I could just see what the faction is. You have to have some kind of anti-air. I have this guy. I can use Fate of Bune on flying things. I think I will substitute these out. So let me see what I can do here. I do like the Hounds for the debuffs, for the flanking debuffs. The Hell Cannon's up in the air. I think one Hell Cannon can do a lot of damage. It's a lot more expensive than most artillery. I guess there's an argument for just not running the Hell Cannon. It is really expensive. I really wanted to run it. It does do a lot of damage, but there's only one of it. You have to remember that. So when you see 450 damage, that looks really good. And that does a huge splash radius. Like, I've had this thing used against me in the Empire campaign. It can just decimate infantry lines. That's why I have it. But it's so much money. Like, that's a third more than Doom Divers. And there's 4 Doom Divers. So Doom Divers look like they don't do that much. They're like 190 damage or something, but there's 4 of them. This is guided missiles also. Yeah, they get a leadership penalty, but it's not going to matter from that far away. Tell you what, I'm going to get rid of that. And let's see, I want more Forsaken. Now, let me know about this strategy. I've watched a couple of competitive games, and I think it's frowned upon to run more than 4 of these guys. I'm not sure, though. I'm not sure. So let me know. I'm a rookie with Chaos. I haven't played Chaos. So, get rid of one of these guys. We'll throw one more in there. Okay. I think I like this. Pretty straightforward army, so we just run up. We're just going to beat them down. This is going to, I mean, these Forsaken, the thing is they're not large units, and they deal very, very heavy damage. So that means that spears, they're going to just destroy spears, they're going to destroy halberds, they're going to destroy other swordsmen. The only thing they're going to lose to are other large units. Potentially. So they're not going to be awesome against Blood Knights. They're not going to be awesome against, I'm trying to think, Trolls, or things like that. They're going to be at a disadvantage against those. But the fact that they're such heavy damage and they're not large, so things that get a bonus versus large don't get a bonus versus them, is just a huge, huge boon. So I think I'm going to start with this. I want a couple of halberds, just so that I have some anti-large in case they do have Blood Knights or Demigryphs or whatever. I want one Marauder Horseman, just for a little bit of early harass. Also, just in case they have like a little bit of air units, I can use the Marauders on that. This is just to kind of fill out my line. I mean, if I was going really hard, I could just go like one other Forsaken. I do like to have, but I just want a few more just kind of units I can throw out there, some fodder units. And I can use some of these Forsaken to flank if these guys can stay on the line. I do like Chaos Warhounds, just having like maybe 1 or 2 of these just for the poison debuff. It's very, very useful. If you just flank around and get that poison on people, it's really nice. Also, it can run down archers, artillery, things like that they have. And I guess that's about it. I think I explained to everybody. Once again, these are just kind of fodder units. Yeah, let's go ahead and save this. We'll try it out. So I know they just recently nerfed Forsaken. So we'll see how this ends up. Because I remember seeing it in the patch notes. But let's go ahead and get in here, try it. Now, I've got to tell you, I haven't been super impressed when I've played against Chaos. I have won almost every time, not quite every time, but I have a very, very high win percentage against Chaos, and I'm not a super great player. I'm okay. I'm okay. But that leads me to believe that they're not probably that strong. Let me see. Did I... I'm trying to remember if I just recorded a campaign or not. I think the last thing that I played was a multiplayer match. I don't think I have any mods on. Did it find it? Yeah, I didn't record. I don't think I've recorded a campaign today. I've just been releasing stuff that I recorded yesterday. Because sometimes if I record, I have that Conquer Anywhere mod on for all of my campaigns. just to make them a little more interesting for reasons I explain in episode 1 of each campaign. But if you have that on, then it won't let you start a match for multiplayer. Let me just exit out really quick. I can't tell if it's modded or not. Downloadable content, what is this? Oh, blood. Let me just real quickly just make sure that I don't have the mods on. I don't have the mods on. Okay, it was just taking a while to find a match. It's pretty weird. It doesn't usually take that long. That's okay. We'll get back in there. So Chaos's problem is I feel like a lot of the units are just really overcosted for what they are. Like I would love to run the Dragon Ogre things, but they're 1,700. And yes, they do get a bonus versus large, but other things that are large that are going to get a... I don't know. I mean, they're good at taking down other cavalry, for sure, but other cavalry's a lot cheaper than they are, and they're weak to halberds and spears. And a lot of other factions are going to have a lot of halberds and spears, so... And the Blood Knights are going to beat them up for Empire, or for Vampire counts. Blood Knights are going to beat them up, so... they just cost too much. Where did I do Chaos base? Okay. Alright, so we're against Empire. What's Empire gonna run? They don't have a lot of flag units. I need to have some anti-air just to help with their lord, I think. Demigryphs are kind of out of style. I think a lot of people are running greatswords lately. Greatswords are probably pretty good into Forsaken. They're gonna have some spears. I kind of want some more, like, cavalry. I think a chariot... I mean, I really wanted to run a chariot. These hounds should be able to run down archers that they have. I mean, I could just get rid of these and run a chariot. Because that would help tear up some of their, if they run a lot of great swords. That would help counter that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I've got enough of a line, that's fine. And we'll run one chariot. For a little more micro. Their chariot is actually, I think that's a pretty aggressively costed chariot. That's a pretty good chariot. Charge bonus, 76. Pretty good speed. A little bit of a bonus versus infantry. Yeah, 18. So I think it's pretty good for its cost. If you just bowl in there, hit them with the chariot, and then run out. So I think this is enough infantry line. This should shatter them. So what I need to do is once I get that line formed up, I need to figure out what to do with the rest of my units. And this needs to be kind of utility stuff that complements this. This will help protect my flanks against any flying lords that they have, or any demigryphs or anything like that that they try to throw at me. This, if I can sneak it around, will be really good at flanking. This guy's going to be good at flanking. And these guys can actually flank themselves. They're pretty fast. And they have a really nice charge bonus. So, I think this will be okay. I know that some viewers have requested that I play more of a rush faction without any, that I try out rush faction without any, what am I trying to say? Without any health potions on lords, without any missile infantry, especially Frapper or F-Rapper. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I've always just called him Frapper in my mind, but a really dedicated subscriber that I have that comments on almost everything. He's awesome. He has suggested that I try something like this out, so we'll try it out. We'll see how it works. Now, someone's probably going to come in this video and say, oh, you ran way too many Forsaken or something like that. And that might be a thing. I don't know what the etiquette is for online. I just try to win games to start off with, and I try to do things that aren't sleazy, but, I mean, that's almost all the Chaos have that's a really efficient-looking unit, seems to be these Forsaken. So, we'll try them out. The Chaos Trolls with armor are interesting, now that they buffed their leadership a little bit in this patch, but if I'm against a faction that's going to have a lot of spears, potentially, or halberds, like I suspect they will, then you don't want to be doing that. And that's the risk. The thing is with the Forsaken, there's not really a risk there. There's not a lot of units that are very good against infantry. I mean, great swords are one of them, for sure. But I'm hoping we can go toe-to-toe with great swords. We're at least cheaper than they are. And I think we have better magic to buff our units than they do. This guy out here, I don't want to get too close, but I do kind of want to scout and see what's up with him. Okay. These guys 2. Make these guys my 3 group. Okay, so I want my 3 over here, a couple over here, on 1 line. Stocks locked. I want to save my my halberds for the flanks. Now I thought I put this guy on a horse. Is he on a horse? And I just can't. Okay, I'm blind. He's on a horse. Okay, so I can flank with him also. So I'll put him with a flanker group and put him over here. Okay, and I'll give him as much time as he wants to set up. It's fine. Okay, so I can cast Soul Blight right off the bat, it looks like, but Spirit of Buna... Oh, I can't afford it. That's why it's grayed out. Okay. Did I get anything that lets me boost it? No, he doesn't have any spells or anything that would let him boost his Winds of Magic. So, it's pretty good wins here. I just need 1 more point for Buna. So when I'm looking for Buna targets, you know, primary target's going to be Great Swords. If I get any of those, Demigryphs would be good. I think those have fallen out of favor. But Great Swords are definitely the one thing that I'm scared of here. I think anything else we should be able to be pretty competitive with. Got a bunch of halberds, pistoliers. Pistoliers are going to be annoying. I don't see any great swords though. Does he have any artillery? No. So this would have been a great spot to have some artillery. Grenade launchers. Okay. My hound should be able to run those down. But there's some over here too. Okay, there's Demigryphs. See, there's a delay whenever I click. That's what the problem is on the campaign when I'm playing normally, there's not a delay. So it's instant cast movement things. Let me let my guys catch their breath for a second. Fresh, we're good. Alright, let's get in there. Alright, let's get back. Over here. God, these halberds move so slow. Get up there. Are these Demigryphs also? Okay, so those are Demigryphs too. Okay, so the hound should be able to run them down, I think. Wait. There we go. That's what I want. Let's get up here. Rumor has it these guys might eventually make it to the fight. Holy cow. Alright, cycle this. get over here, shoot these. Let's get in here, surround him. Let's get out of here. Get a charge back in there. Okay, got him. Well, that was pretty quick. I didn't think he'd give up that soon, but yeah. Let's look at the end battle here in a second. I didn't even need the halberds. I was a little bit late to the party. I didn't quite, bring those in fast enough. But as you can see, these Forsaken just shatter people. Like, I mean, the thing is, he didn't have any great swords, and that's a big no-no against Chaos, because you know they're gonna have these Forsaken. And or if they don't have Forsaken, they're going to have Chaos Warriors, or they're going to have some kind of strong infantry. So I think that halberds are definitely not the way to go. I don't even like halberds in general. They're just too expensive against large. I mean, maybe he thought I was going to run a lot of large monsters. Yeah, and these demigriffs just are not really that effective. Like, they did get some kills, and I did run my lord into him, and that was a little dangerous, but I didn't use any potions. Like, I still had 2 potions I could use with him, and I can always fly away. And eventually my Chaos Warriors would show up. They would be there. So, I don't know. But yeah, these things, 750 gold, and they killed 88 and 74 things. Now, I dropped the negative armor on pretty much everybody that was grouped up there. So that means that they all effectively had 0 armor, because I think they start with 15. They might have 30. Either way, it either cut their armor in half or reduced them to 0 armor. And it reduced all of their effectiveness, and it reduces their leaderships. They're more likely to run. So yeah, these things are tremendous. So let me know in the multiplayer if it's not cool to run them. I mean, I knew they'd be very effective against the Empire. Now, the Chaos just don't have a lot of other good options that are cost effective. But I'll run another one. That one was he gave up pretty soon. I didn't even get to show off stuff, and I mismicroed my halberds. That's a thing that I've realized here is when I'm playing on the campaign map, what I usually do is I click once, and then I press R for run. That's how I get people to run. But there is a, quarter of a second delay or something when you're online, and so when I click and then press R, it doesn't register it, so I have to wait a quarter of a second. And a lot of times I'm clicking and trying to micro so fast that I just click R, click R, click R, click R when I'm readjusting units. And half the time it doesn't go through like that. I think you can double click it also, but I'm not 100% sure about that technique. I usually like dragging the units so that I can see sorry, I'm getting a text here from my wife. Okay. Just so that I can see what the formation is going to look like. I almost never just single click onto something unless I'm attacking something. If I'm attacking, then I will just single click on it, then press R. But I seem to be aware of that delay and just watch a little more closely. But I just constantly want things to run. But I know there's an option, and I need to enable that, where it automatically runs whenever you click and drag. But then I'm going to be confused if I do that, because then if I click on a unit, then they might walk, because it's only when you click and drag. I'm pretty sure it's not when you click to attack. So maybe it's just better that it's consistent, where I'll always have to click, wait, and then R. I just have to slow down a little bit to make sure everybody's running. Well, we didn't get to see a lot that fight. We got to see some. I mean, basically what we saw is the Forsaken just slaughter everything because he didn't have great swords. So, well, I'll do another episode here really quick, because that one was so fast and just really an absolute slaughter, not even close at all. Then I'll just do another one. I'm not really sure what he was going for. He didn't get Carl into the battle either. One thing about this multiplayer system is I'm not sure if it has matchmaking, based on your wins or losses, or if you have some kind of hidden elo, or if it's just straight up just whoever you get paired with just randomly. I really think they should invest some money into increasing the infrastructure of this a little bit, though. Add in a matchmaking system, add in some ranked stats somewhere. I mean, maybe those exist and I don't know how to see the ranked stats, but just add in some stats. I don't think it would take that much development to do it, maybe some, but I think it's something that people are very interested in. I see it's some of the most popular videos on my channel are these multiplayer videos, and I think people really like it because there is such a diversity. There's magic, there's just a lot of different strategic options. It's a really cool concept. I'm not sure how it was multiplayer with Attila or some of these other games, but um, I feel like Total War Warhammer has the potential to be a much more lively multiplayer scene because of the lore behind Warhammer, because the units look so very different, cool, and unique, because there's a lot of different kinds of units, including flying, magic, like really meaningful wars with items. I think there's just a lot more diversity than there was in Attila. I loved Attila, it was a fun game. But I feel like there's just a lot more diversity here in terms of units, strategies, and just micromanagement potential with all of the abilities that you get, all the potions and all that kind of stuff that you can use, magic. So I think it has all of the hallmarks of something that would make a good multiplayer game if they just increase the infrastructure a little bit, professionalize it. Like, it doesn't have to be, you know, super professional or anything like that, but I think that just adding in a good ranked system and just something with just some basic stats, like how many wins you have with Empire, like maybe your kills with different units or something like that, so you could measure it and see like how you're performing with different units. I don't think it would take that much to do. I mean, I would pay for that if it was like the multiplayer pack or something, you know, $5-10, whatever. I'm fine with that. It's perfectly fine. But I think it would be cool if they had that in there. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I will do another Chaos one here and see if we can get something that's a little bit more competitive. It was certainly a lot of fun for me, as always, to broadcast for you. If you like this, check out my other multiplayer. This is going to, after I finish Chaos here, which I just did, I'm going to have at least one game for every single faction so far with multiplayer. And I'm going to be doing at least 2 or 3 games every day. They're really quick. There's really no excuse not for me not to do them. You know, they're like 20 or 30 minutes to shoot, and then I just post them up. Takes about an hour and a half to process. I can, you know, grade essays or work on my dissertation or whatever while it's processing, and then just throw on a couple of quick descriptions. No problem. I also don't have to go back and watch it so that I can find the highlights. I can just put the game start timer. So it's really easy to process. It seems really popular on the channel, so I'm going to do a lot more of these, and hopefully you guys and gals will enjoy them. If you do enjoy them, also consider checking out the campaigns. They're getting pretty lively. All of the campaigns are pure campaigns, which means we don't abuse the auto-resolve system, we don't assassinate lords on the campaign map, we don't do any other kind of shenanigans or tomfoolery that give us an unfair advantage over the AI. We sign up for tough campaigns, and that's what we've got so far. It's been a pretty good time, and I think people are enjoying that. So if you want to check it out, feel free to go there and do that. We don't, unfortunately, have a campaign going yet for Chaos. I will have one soon, but with the other 5 factions, we have some very lively campaigns, and there's lots of interesting moments, ups and downs. I deliberately take challenging fights in the campaign, not to the point where I'm going to lose or where it's too reckless, but every now and then I do take a fight that I know is going to be really hard just for the entertainment, just so that I get a good challenge and just so that I hope you get a good viewing experience. So, you know, sometimes I could wait an extra 3 turns for reinforcements or to hire a couple extra units or whatever, and I'll just say, whatever, I want a tough fight, let's go do it. And sometimes it bites me, but a lot of times it makes for really, really great experiences. I think it's a lot of fun, and viewers seem to like that style so far as well. So do check that out. But that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a wonderful evening.